Hello, and welcome to The Last Word. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Jennifer Bonaparte, and our panelists today are Pastor Nigel and Barry Alston. Today's topic will be on religion. We have a series of 4 questions for each panelist, in which they have 3 minutes to answer. Let's begin. Pastor Nigel, first question goes to you. Do you believe that religion and science is a conflict with each other?
The late German born physicist Albert Einstein believed that science without religion was lame, and religion without science was blind. And so the debate over whether science and religion can coexist has been going on since the dawn of mankind and continues to divide opinions even today. I'm convinced that evolution and religious beliefs need not be in contradiction. Indeed, if science and religion are properly understood, they cannot be in contradiction because they concern different matters. Science and religion are like two different windows for looking at the word. The two windows look at the same word, but they show different aspects of that very word. Science concerns the processes that account for the natural world, how planets move, the composition of matter, and the atmosphere, the origin and adaptations of organisms. Religion concerns the meaning and purpose of the world and of human life, the proper relation of people to the Creator and to each other, the moral values that inspire and govern people's lives. Apparent contradictions only emerge when either science or the beliefs, or often both, trespass their own boundaries and wrongfully encroach upon one another's subject or subject matter. Science and religion can and do coexist. The first scientists were clergymen, believe it or not. Today, religious institutions from universities to the Vatican Observatory support professional science, and the proportion of scientists, thank you, ma'am, who are themselves believers mirrors the fraction in the general population. Stephen Hawking, one of the great minds of the 19th, 20th century, said a few years ago that philosophy is dead. However, those proponents of philosophy said no. The reason why Stephen Hawking said philosophy is dead was because he's proposing that science will answer every question and philosophy no longer needs to be in the mix. Stephen Hawking is dead wrong because God is science, and science tells us, gives us answers to certain things like technology and everything. However, God is science.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know if Pastor Nigel actually answered the question, uh, but I do believe that religion and science are opposed. Um, One of the things with religion, there are so many religions and so many faiths of religion that we can determine that it's man-made. Science, however, is built on facts, hardcore facts. So, do we take the opinion of those who have 50 million different ideologies and opinions when it comes to God and the afterlife and so on, or do we take the studies of hundreds of thousands of years, men and women who have studied science and have proven fact time after time?
Thank you for that, Barry. Pastor Nigel, question 2. Do you believe that churches are fulfilling their obligation to the communities that they claim to serve? Is in light of COVID, with situations like financial things and ills like violence and drugs?
I absolutely and unequivocally believe that the churches are fulfilling their role in society, given what we've experienced during COVID and other calamities throughout this world. As we look at the various churches across this globe, the major churches, we can see that they have in place what we call ACSs, uh, Community Services, CSs. Uh, I speak particularly for my church. We have what we call Adventist Community Service and ADRA. ADRA deals with the foundational principle of helping everyone across the globe during disasters. In every situation that has arisen over the years, earthquakes, hurricane, the church has been at the forefront in meeting the needs of individuals. During floods, I've seen individuals that have been to the various ground zero, we call it, to build houses. We have built we have built homes overnight, small homes for people as they lose their homes. We have distributed food every single week. The churches, including this church, have distributed food for the neighborhood. We make sure that people are fed. We visit them. We know that some people have gone homeless. We make sure that they get homes. Section 8, we work closely with the community. I, for one, am on this team for the assemblywoman of this district, and we made sure that we have things in place that will assist individuals in times of need. Yes, I do believe that the church is fulfilling its role. The church has done many things in the society. People have looked up to us because of what we have been doing in this society. There are individuals that do come to the church and are members of churches, or especially this church, because of what we have done for them in feeding them, in clothing them, in making sure that they have homes, shelter, making sure that they have enough food to eat. The church stands as a social organization. And if the church does not feed, does not look after its citizens, if the church does not look after those out there, then we have failed. And so this church and other churches, I know for a fact, have been at the forefront of assisting individuals in food, shelter, homes, whatever they need, psychological needs, whatever it is. The church has been at the forefront. Especially, I can speak for this church, we have been at the forefront, and I continue to lead that charge.
Thank you.
Despite this compelling soliloquy that Pastor Nigel has given, I would have to dissent that the church has fulfilled its obligation to the community that they claim to serve. Unfortunately, they haven't. The church has gotten so complacent in their four walls, just preaching the gospels to the four walls, and they have forgotten the commission of Jesus in the gospels, where he said, "Go ye therefore into all nations, teaching them to observe all things, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost." However, that is not the case. Unfortunately, that scripture does not hold true to this day and time. And I'm not taking away what Pastor Nigel or Rivers of Life does here. Overall, the church has failed. When I was growing up, the church was a staple in the community. You did not just see them on the Sabbath going into the house of God, but you seen them every day in the community, whether they was out on the street witnessing, whether they was in the parks witnessing, whether they was feeding the hungry. They was always doing something. They was always being seen. That is not the case today, unfortunately. The church is more concerned about their attire, who has the biggest hat on Sabbath, and who can raise the most money, and who can drive the biggest car, and have a bigger following, whatever the case may be. The church has gotten so complacent with fighting amongst themselves, amongst religious dogma and religious traditions, just so much, and forgot the community and forgot the needs of the community. Jesus was out and about. He wasn't stuck in a place behind in the walls. He could be found there sometimes, but most of the time you've seen Jesus, he was out and about amongst the community, talking to the people. He should not even been talking to the Samaritan woman at the well. However, we cannot, it's very hard to find believers talking to these young people nowadays. For whatever reason, the church has failed the community, and the church needs to get back to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Pastor Nigel, do you think this world will be destroyed?
Absolutely not. This world was created by God and will be destroyed and rebuilt by God. It seems to me that the question handles in two terms: destroyed now in our lifetime, or by men, or destroyed by God. I would say that I know without a shadow of a doubt, based on the biblical prophecies, that the world will never be destroyed by man. We have built nuclear bombs, we have built the atomic bombs, we've built all kind of weapons of mass destruction. But according to the Bible, none of these will affect the world, because the world must go on until God returns. The Bible tells me in 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, also in Revelation chapter 21, that there will be a new earth and a new heaven. But that new earth and new heaven will be of the creation of God, not of man. Man will never be able to destroy this world. Even in a nuclear catastrophe, man will never be able to destroy this world. This world was made and created by God, and God will be the one in control to destroy this world. If the world is destroyed, then obviously mankind would be destroyed as well. Every single creature on the face of the earth will be annihilated, and God is not going to allow that to happen. My Bible tells me that God has established the earth on its foundation. It will not be moved from its place forever and ever. That's Psalm 104, verse 5. Ecclesiastes 1, verse 4 says, the earth remains forever. Even Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 18 said, the one who formed the earth, its maker who firmly established it, did not create it simply for nothing, but formed it to be inhabited. This world will be inhabited until God returns to take his home, this earth, and rebuild it, recreate this earth for us to live on. So the question, will this earth be destroyed? No, it will never be destroyed by man. Yes, it will be recreated by God in his loving form to give us a new home and a new heaven. That's the God I know, and that's the God I trust. And I know this world will never be destroyed by man, only when God comes to rebuild his world.
Thank you.
If my ears served me correctly, the question was asked, would the world be destroyed? I don't recall by whom in the question. So with that being said, the world is being destroyed daily. There's so many things that are transpiring. Global warming, pollution, the list goes on. The world is being destroyed daily. And then one of the things Pastor Nigel said, he said that there would be a new earth. So with that being said, if there's going to be something new or recreated, that would mean that something had to be destroyed or done away with. So with that being said, I do believe that the world will be destroyed. For there to be a new or recreation, that means that something would have to be destroyed or done away with. And like I said, we're seeing the progression of that daily with so many of the things we're seeing now, as I aforementioned, pollution, global warming, plagues. It's just a consistent ongoing thing where we are so far from where we were 30 years ago, 100 years ago, and so on. The world will be destroyed.
Thank you. Last question, Pastor. Do you feel that the church should be involved with politics?
When God established this universe, he established a political system. It's called theocracy. It is the actions of men that have created what we call democracy, republic, monarchy. If I have time, I could go back to David and show you how God established theocracy. And the children of Israel came to God and said, "We don't want you anymore. We want a king, monarchy." They decided that a monarchy would be better than theocracy. So God allowed them to have a king. His name was Saul. God told him that it's not a good idea because the king would take their sons, would take their daughters, would marry many wives, and would eventually ruin the country. But they decided that they wanted a king instead of theocracy. The perfect political system is a theocracy. Should religion, should science, should politics and religion come together? Well, if you put God in the picture and we have a theocracy, it should come together. A democracy is people who rule, is a system where the people are those who vote and make decisions. A republic is a system that chooses sections of government to make decisions. America is a republic, not a democracy. A republic because we have the Congress, we have the Senate, and we have the Supreme Court that makes decision on behalf of the people. A democracy is when the government asks for a referendum and the people vote and a decision is made. That's a democracy. We do not have a democracy in America, we have a republic. And so when the founding fathers founded this nation, they founded it on religion. In God we trust. Religion can coexist with politics, but it is when God is at the end. When we go back to theocracy, or when God rules a country, when God is the king, when God is the president, when God is the prime minister, when God is the ruler, then we have politics and religion together. Until then, I don't believe that politics and religion should blend together because it has caused the death of many people. That's why this new world was formed. The pilgrims left Europe because the mixture of politics and religion. But I believe that the only way that it can come together is unless we go back to the rulership of God, that's a theocracy, not under the rulership that we have today. God is the ruler, not man. And so I strongly believe that religion and politics can go together, but it will not go together now because God, theocracy is not the rulership. And when that happens, then I believe it will go.
Thank you.
If my memory serves me correct, the question was, should the church take active part in politics? Pastor Nigel talked about religion and politics, and I don't hear that in the question because there is a difference between church and religion. If I had time, I would deal with it. But I do believe there should be a separation between church and state. One of the epidemics we have in this nation is that folks do not know how to play their own position, and they're trying to play everybody else's position. And the church has not mastered their position. As I stated earlier, the church has not, they have failed the community, they have failed the people overall. So I believe that the church needs to focus on the things of the church. The church we can't come together. We're fighting denominations. We're fighting, different beliefs, minuscule beliefs. We can't come together on minuscule issues. So how can we take an active part and a positive part in politics if the church hasn't mastered its own? I do not believe that the church should take part in politics until there is a difference in the church where they are meeting the needs of the people and they have come together and the church can come together collectively despite denominations, despite, Sabbath beliefs, the whole nine. And until that happens, the church should stay separate from politics.
Thank you. This now concludes our debate. Thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughts. It is now time to summarize. Pastor Nigel, please give your last word.
Let me first thank you, Miss Jennifer, for a wonderful job. Well done. And to my opponent, I thank you as well. My opponent tonight has laid out uh, articulately and so almost convincingly his opinions, and opinions they are. But the fact remains that religion and science can coexist because God is in the picture. The problem is that God, when we remove God from the picture, then all we have left is just nothing. But if God is in the picture, we come to understand that that science is observation, religion is belief. You cannot observe and not understand or believe. Therefore, there is a moral fabric within religion, within science. If there's a moral fabric in science, it stands to reason that God is in science. God created science. Therefore, science and religion can coexist only if God is in the picture. If we do not put God in the picture, then we have a problem. Again, my opponent talks about the world being destroyed. I strongly oppose that the world will be destroyed and is being destroyed. Yes, we are, as managers of this planet, destroying this planet slowly, but not destructive, a final destruction. And I think that's where we are. Not a final destruction. Only God will do that. God gave us a rainbow as a promise to Noah. And in that promise, he told Noah that the world will continue. As long as rain, as long as there's seasons, summer, fall, winter, the world will continue until he comes and destroy the world again with fire, not with water this time. So God already told us that the world will never be destroyed by man, but by him with fire. So I do understand that. Will humans ruin this earth? No, they won't ruin the earth. God is in the midst, and God would not allow them to ruin the earth. How religion and politics? I strongly believe, again, we put God out of the picture. If God is in the picture, theocracy will overcome. God rules. God created a political system, and that's called theocracy. If we put God in it, we shall succeed. Religion and science and politics can coexist, and we can be involved in religion and science if God is in it. I do understand that separation of church and state do exist because of the problems that exist when we come together in religion and politics. But again, that's because God is not in the picture. When God is in the picture, everything runs smoothly. It's our human frailty that keeps God out of the picture and cause the problems that we have today. But when we do politics and we put God in that, then we have a perfect system. That will never happen if God is not in it. But I believe strongly that whatever we do, whatever actions we take, be it religion, be it science, politics, whatever we do, if God is in the midst, we cannot fail. He's the ultimate leader. God is ultimate in science. He's ultimate in politics. He's ultimate in everything in this world. And I leave you tonight by letting you understand that the only way we can succeed, the only way we can get this world together is unless God is in the picture.
Thank you.
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you, Ms. Jennifer, for this opportunity, this platform. To my opponent, I appreciate you and respect you so much. I'm not going to go through the whole list of what was already stated. Just a few points that I would like to discuss. As my opponent, he so adequately kept with the word religion. And can, these things exist with religion, whatever the case may be. I still stand firm that there needs to be a separation. I still stand that the church has not fulfilled their obligations to the community. And the thing is this, We talk about when God is in the equation, how things are made better. However, all these religious sectors say they have God in the equation, and there's still havoc and there's still chaos. We say that God is in the equation, and we can't come together to do anything. If the religious people, the Seventh Day Adventist Church of God in Christ, Cool JC, the Muslims, the Jews, could come together, there would not be a situation of homelessness. There would not be a situation of hunger in the streets. However, but we say that God is in the equation, but there's still havoc and chaos. There's still no unity. So with that being said, there are some serious issues that we have to deal with, and we have to come to some hard realizations so that we can make these positive changes. And then when the positive changes come and we can come together as a unit, as a body of believers, without the isms and schisms of, I believe this and I believe that, and I don't believe this and I can't accept that, then we can make change. And then, we can coexist with science. Then we can coexist in with politics and all the things that's needed or that we should be able to handle and deal with and make a positive change. But we can't even make a positive change within our own sector as religious believers. With that being said, thank you once again, and I appreciate this platform.
Thank you.